my computer, I guess. Okay. Whenever you're ready, Eric.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order. We will start with the reading and the approval of the minutes for our January 21st, 2021 meeting. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion, Eric. This is Fred.
Thank you, Fred.
Maggie will second.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then
Aye.
on to the finance report.
This is Maggie. I will make a motion to accept the check detail as presented.
Okay, need a second?
Fred makes a second.
Okay, thank you, Fred. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. And
Aye.
I will make a motion to accept the cash flow statements as presented.
Okay, need a second on that? Do I have a second on that?
Again,
Second.
Fred will make the second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. All right, obviously, Renee is not here today. So we're gonna move on. April, did you have any updates as far as the priority activities and projects other than what was in the backup information for the meeting?
Okay, so Renee sent the agenda with that backup, and I'm going to kick it to Paul for resolutions to be approved today. So the Village of Cooksaki Municipal Solar 1 is on the agenda.
Okay, and I think I had drafted a resolution, hopefully that had gotten around. They had come back to us indicating that there is a change in the ownership so that the people that we dealt with in California are selling to another buyer. Nothing changes in terms of the pilot agreement or the the ground lease or the terms. So that what the resolution does is it approves the execution and delivery of an estoppel certificate, basically asserting that they've made all their payments and they're not in default. So if anyone would like to make or has questions about that resolution, there were a couple of typos that we cleaned up this morning, but it just approves the transfer of the interest and approves the execution and delivery of the estoppel by the chairman.
Does what you sent out this morning include those cleanups, April?
Yes.
Oh, the
So Maggie
cleanups
will make a
were-
motion to accept.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions on that before we go? Okay, so Maggie has made a motion. I just need a second.
Second, Valentine.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed?
Hmm.
There being none, the motion carries.
Okay. Then we had updates on exit 21 West.
Well, we had one other resolution being the Free Point Solar.
Okay, I was going to add that in at the end. but go
Okay,
ahead.
fine. Go ahead. If you, no, go ahead. Go ahead, April.
I'm just doing number 2. If anybody had any questions, I can relay them to Renee, or you can always reach them by email. But the only update is we had some signs made to put up. So that's exit 21 West.
Right. And I think he had that in his notes. He also indicated that he's in ongoing conversations with Central Hudson about, and with Columbia Memorial about the gas line and their need to kind of investigate what their needs will be given the cost impact for that.
Then moving on to number 3 is the Champlain Hudson Power Express. We had a Zoom call with several of the taxing jurisdictions. Eric was on the line. I think it went smoothly. I am going to be contacting each of the jurisdictions to get at least 2 contacts from each group so that we can pass information back and forth and they can pass it on to their boards. But that went off without a hitch. I mean, they got the basic information started. So I think everybody's kind of being pulled into that loop. The thing I pulled away from it is they're not going to really break ground until 2025 maybe. So we have some time to work out all these.
Right, I just took a couple quick notes, informational. I'll just throw them at you guys real quick. And I agree with April. I thought it went well. It was really just informational. I don't think there were any questions. It's a little early yet, so I think there's a lot of unknowns, but it passes through 11 jurisdictions. It's 325 miles. It's a 1,250 megawatt project. 24 miles of it is in Greene County. And as April said, I think 2025 is when they're projecting construction. 2026 is the first year anybody will see any type of tax revenue flowing from that project. And I guess the one thing I would say, maybe you can comment on this, April, I wasn't really clear in understanding this when they said it's a competitive project and they're competing with other people. Does that mean on that project or other projects in total? Because
I
it
think
sounded
there are
like
other
this
projects in
project versus
total.
alternate projects, right?
Right.
Is that?
Right. I can get clarification from Renee, but when they were talking about that, they put out an RFP. I'm not sure where the competitive part is coming in, whether it's from construction groups coming in or other. I know there's a lot of different power lines coming in, but this group has to get the
Right.
contract signed with the city before we move
Because
forward.
in RFP, I mean, you're not, if it's alternate projects, it's really not apples to apples, I guess, other than the end result maybe. But
Sure.
yeah, and then the megawatts and that 1250 megawatts, that's got to be almost in line or with the equivalent of an Athens generating capacity, I would imagine, right?
Athens is 1,080, so it's bigger.
Okay, so it's a little more capacity than, yeah, okay.
Okay, I just admitted somebody from our waiting room. Can you just tell me who you are?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, this is Dan Boyd with Sun East,
Hi, Dan.
just in case there are any questions on what Paul brings up. Yep, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay.
Morning.
So any other Champlain Hudson Power Express questions I can relay to Renee, or you can always, reach out. Is there anything else? No? Okay. So the other resolution that Paul's presenting is FPS to Free Point Solar.
Yep. Okay. So when we approved Free Point Solar, we approved it with the parent company being Free Point Solar. They now have come forward with, as typical in many of these deals, a single purpose entity that will be the owner and operator of it. It's called FPS Coxsackie Solar. So the resolution before you substitutes FPS Coxsackie Solar for Free Point Solar in all respects to the documents that we approved in connection with the grant. There's no change in the financial assistance. There's no change in what we've agreed to. And the other thing I just want to mention to the board is that in the documents, we're adjusting the documents so that the completion date is December 31 of 2021, so that this project will get online in connection with what would be the 2022 assessment roll. So with that, I drafted a resolution allowing the successor company being FPS Coxsackie Solar to substitute for the entity that we approved, which was Free Point Solar, and for all the documents. Other than that, there's no other change. So the resolution authorizes the chairman to sign the documents with that substitution.
Does anybody have any questions or comments on that before we go forward with a resolution? Okay, with that said, I need a motion to approve Paul's resolution as presented.
Maggie will make the
So moved,
motion.
Eric. Fred will make the second.
I guess Fred will make a second. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Paul, is that
Appreciate it.
something you need
Everybody
me to
have a
come
great
in and sign?
I have all the documents. I'll run around later to find you, get signatures on them. So
Yeah,
I'll
and
meet
then-
Eric and
Yeah, and
Fred.
Eric, and I'll come when we're ready to have all the documents signed. I'll run down to see you. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
just
was
give me a
talking about
heads up.
resolutions.
You guys just shoot me a text when your comments, so I don't run off on you.
Yeah, I mean, the documents will probably be another 2 weeks or somewhere within 2 weeks, so you can do the resolution, as soon as you can. So that'd be great. Okay.
April, do you need physical signatures from us or can you accept a digital signature?
I
think we're
can,
doing
well, I'll get physical signatures from Eric and Fred on the resolutions, and then I'll just write yes or absent on
Okay,
the resolution.
got it.
Okay, so resolutions are complete. Renee also included anticipated new projects, Catskill Renewable Connector. So he's just been making introductions, and we'll get more information out to the board as we get it. And then I do not have any other project updates. What I've been working on is the audit, so it's almost complete. We use BST, and for the March meeting, we'll approve those.
Okay.
In April, I did speak to the auditor.
Oh, good. Okay. Yep, we're almost.
Yeah,
That was the highlight of your day.
It always is.
He's not from the government, so it was better than, than that.
And
So it
similarly,
went
Eric,
well.
he did call me to indicate,
Yeah.
to inquire whether I thought there was any fraud in the company. I said, I don't think so.
Good answer.
We're missing it if there is.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I can tell you with this bunch, I have no, as with every bunch I've had, I have no qualms about everyone's integrity in this place. So,
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So if
I
anybody-
guess the only other thing is, we did have, I think actually most of the people on this call were involved with the earlier call, kind of the working call we had with Renee and April as far as transitioning and all that. Is that, I think everybody on this call today was involved with that. Is that correct?
Keith and I have not yet connected, but certainly
Okay.
Fred, myself, April, and I don't know, welcome, Ben. This is Maggie. I don't know if Ben has been brought into the conversation.
Not yet.
No, I
Ben was
missed that one.
approved, I believe, last night.
okay, good.
All right.
So we have to file with the Secretary of State that resolution, April, just so you know. We have to file the membership resolutions periodically. So
Oh,
I'll
once we
talk to you
get them
about,
from the legislators.
yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right. Okay, so, well, and welcome, Ben. I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't realize you were on. I just see your number. I didn't see your name on there. So welcome to the board. It's exciting and rewarding and exhilarating all at the same time. All the other members will attest to that.
And you'll get a call from the auditor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No need to thank us right away. So, the first working call we had as far as a transition, I thought was productive. I did talk to Dan Kelly, just kind of gave him a brief rundown on it, and I thought we kind of got a good starting point. I think obviously we're just waiting on some informational material, and I don't know. I think probably it's best to get with Renee before we schedule another one or the next steps.
Right, and I think we're talking not just transition, we're really talking about kind of governance and how to move the IDA forward regardless of
Right.
people, right? Looking for Ben and for Keith, this is really looking at budget, looking at projects, looking at an evolution of the actual work that the IDA did, from kind of land development and land seller to looking forward to seeing what Greene County is and where the IDA fits into that picture.
Right.
Sounds good.
And I think, Maggie, correct me if I'm wrong, for me, one of the best things that came out of the meeting was just kind of a realization or a rationalization that, we're going through a transition period and we have to do this with the mindset of it's a trial to see how this is working out, with Renee's position moving to a part-time contractual, and obviously with April taking on different duties. And, it's a trial run for 18 months or 24 months, see how it goes, because maybe we find this doesn't work and we're not locked into, it's like the headlights. We're just can see far enough to get to the next mile marker, and then we may have to adjust or
Right.
rethink some things.
Right, we don't want to lock ourselves in. I will, Ben, I've been on the board, gosh, I think maybe 11 years. But and this is Eric certainly can, Eric, Paul, and April can do, but perhaps for the last 20 years, the IDA has been more in a land acquisition, business park development sort of framework. And they've had a fair amount of success, even with challenges, but that's a long game. That's a very, that's a long and costly game. And as we look at how the future economic opportunities for the county appear, right? And where not just the economy is going, but where our ability as an IDA to kind of augment and influence that, we're really looking at what structure makes sense for this IDA, and frankly, what resources can actually support it. I mean, in short, we have lived off of the revenue of land sales and big projects. Is that a fair representation, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is, do we were basically, like Maggie said, a land developer, a real estate developer versus an extoller of benefits. We did that as well, but I think barring a big project coming in that's going to help finance that, we have to step over into being more an extoller of benefits. Now, things could change tomorrow. Another Athens generating project could come in and help, finance us for some time to come. But I don't see that on the horizon. It's certainly possible, but we have to start to transition from tying up huge amounts of capital in land and things, and frankly, peddling our benefits that we can extol on a project. So it's a, I don't want to call it a fundamental change, but it is a little change in direction from where we're going based on what's in front of us and what the reality on the ground is.
And this is, I will say that Renee and I, via email, there's one of the things that you'll notice if you kind of go back through some of the minutes of the last probably year and a half, at least of the IDA, separating out our work on Exit 21, is that energy, whether we like it or we don't like it, is not the, in a personal way, energy, we happen to be geographically located at pivotal points for large energy users downstate. And so whether it's battery storage, whether it's transmission lines, whether it's the future of Athens Gen, that's not necessarily ours to kind of pick and choose, but we're really, a lot of the work and focus has been on where these energy projects fit into our mission, right? And some of that future. Renee, and there's been a lot going on, particularly because the state of New York has set very ambitious goals for energy, for green energy, renewable energy, et cetera. And a small county like ours happens to be, we just happen to be in a geographic location where a lot of these projects may come through or may look to be situated. And that's a different type of work than land development.
The state, is it true that in April, did you understand this correctly, that by 2040, they want to be 100% renewable energy?
I did hear that on that call.
That seems unrealistic, like, fantasy land style. It's amazing if somebody would actually put that out there. Now, I guess my question with that is, does that mean like Athens Generating is shut down because it's not a renewable, or,
Well, I will tell you, I've been sharing with Renee. I mean, there are big things going on, as you know. They're closing Indian Point, and that whole transition is starting. And as we have discussed as a board, pulling that amount of energy that New York City gets from Indian Point out puts pressure on, or opportunity, depending on your perspective. And you're right, a place like Athens Gen becomes, it's not renewable. And, but some of those plants are also transitioning. Those are long-term, objectives. I have no idea what Athens Gen's future is, but.
Well, I just don't see it realistic that you're going to, probably double the electrical load in the next 20 years based on the amount of electric cars they intend on selling. And then yet somehow magically reducing, I mean, we're going to need every power plant there is and probably then some, and then citing some alternative generating facility is a multi-year. I mean, just 19 years is not enough time to get something built and replace that generating capacity that's there. It's, I mean, to me, it's beyond ridiculous, but it is what it is. So I guess we'll just, but you're right, Maggie, to your point, we are at the crossroads of a lot of a kind of a power generation superhighway, just based on the transmission lines and everything else. So hopefully we'll benefit from that as a
I
county.
couldn't believe it that they actually said in the call that you were on that they weren't going to have shovels in the ground on that one particular transmission line until 2025. I mean, that seems almost, I don't know how you meet those targets. I will
Yeah.
say in New York
Yeah.
City, the commercial real estate, as well as the building, the city itself has been taking aggressive standards on what it's expecting of its current infrastructure in commercial real estate as well as future. So and I know Renee had been in conversation with, I can't remember the name of it, but an entity that is Ravenswood, right? The entity in Queens that is transitioning. It is a natural gas plant, and they're making their transition and cutting deals with power generators outside of Queens to sort of to feed and replace their needs, right? And so this is getting really complex, but it's very different than land development and where our IDA has been. It's different needs. And I think one of the discussion points that for Benny and Keith that we had as a small work group was really, evaluating for our IDA, going back to what we would consider those traditional, authorized functions of the IDA in terms of marketing our benefits as opposed to marketing land and marketing business park development. By the way, we still own a lot of land. So we're not quite out of that business, but as Eric said, it ties up a lot of capital, and we don't, we generate money by projects and project fees. That is our revenue source. So if you're, even listening to how long these energy projects are taking to come online, that's potential future revenue. And that doesn't keep the lights on or pay the bills. So that's really what's the initiation of this conversation as a board is really to look for what our next 20 years look like. And then how we use the existing, personnel and structure to help support that.
Right. Okay. April, was there anything else that we needed to cover in this meeting?
Nope, nothing on the agenda, but if you had any
Okay.
questions, or if you wanted me to email out any informational materials, that's what you just mentioned for the transition, I can send you budget
Yeah,
numbers.
I
or-
think if I
available
remember
now.
right, Maggie, one of the things we were trying to, and that might be a Renee question, we were trying to nail down his medical and
Yeah, we
how that
certainly
was
had
gonna
some
look.
organizational, that would be what I would call, and Paul, I did want to talk with you about this.
Sure.
So what I'm going to call HR handbook issues, because they would be
Yeah.
structural issues to the organization, not discrete to the individual.
Sure.
So, we would need to model that as well in any sort of future planning.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So just
Does
let me know.
anybody have, go ahead, April.
No, I was just saying, if you need anything from me, let me know.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything? I don't want to keep anybody longer than we need to this morning. Does anybody have anything they need to address or? Okay.
I just say thank you, Maggie. That was a very good explanation for that, planning session that I had missed. So very informative, and it sounds like the right path to be taken.
Thank you, Keith.
All right.
So Eric, we'll schedule
Matt?
some time to meet again as a subgroup and continue to push forward on this in the next
Yep.
30, 60 days.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. With that said, I need a motion to adjourn.
So
Valentine.
moved.
A second.
Keith, I'm sorry.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good week, and Keith, feel better. And once again, Ben, thank you for being on the board and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.